All right, so get this. We're going to take a deep dive into how Ayurveda tackles something I'm sure you care about, heart health.
And we're going deep. We're not just talking about like turmeric and yoga poses.
Right.
We're going deep into the Ayurvedic understanding of the heart itself.
Oh, wow.
And we're doing this thanks to this review article
Okay.
called Understanding Cardiovascular Disorders and an Ayurvedic Approach.
So the article doesn't really like sugarcoat anything right off the bat.
No, it doesn't.
It points out that like cardiovascular diseases are a huge global issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hyperbole.
Yeah.
We're talking like almost 25% of all deaths annually.
Wow.
And the prediction is that by 2020,
Okay.
deaths from cardiovascular disease in India alone could increase by like a staggering 111%.
That's a serious wake-up call.
Yeah.
So how does Ayurveda even like begin to approach a problem of this magnitude?
Well, Ayurveda takes a very different route than conventional medicine.
Okay.
It's all about this understanding the body as this intricate web of energies with a focus on balance and prevention.
Oh, interesting.
And actually, the article cautions against just mimicking Western medical protocols.
So it's not like, oh, here's the Ayurvedic equivalent of this drug.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about understanding the core principles of Ayurveda and how they apply to the heart.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, go on.
The term Hrudaya can refer to both the heart and the brain.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How can one word mean two totally different organs?
It all comes down to context.
Okay.
When the context involves emotions, memory, or senses, Hrudaya points to the brain. But if we're talking about blood circulation, then Hrudaya means the heart.
So Ayurveda is acknowledging this mind-body link
Yeah,
right from the start.
exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that leads us to how Ayurveda understands the heart's very formation,
Okay.
from the essence of Rakta, blood, and Kapha.
Kapha, one of the doshas, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us like a quick refresher on what the doshas are and what their role is in heart health?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In Ayurveda, the three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, govern all physiological functions.
Okay.
Vata is the energy of movement, Pitta is the energy of transformation, and Kapha is the energy of structure and stability.
So if the heart is formed from blood and kapha,
Right.
are we saying that any imbalance in those
Yeah.
can mess with the heart?
You got it.
Wow.
And the article gets into the specifics of how each dosha can affect the heart.
Okay.
For instance, let's take Kapha.
Okay.
There's a subdosha called Avalambaka Kapha,
Okay.
which is responsible for supporting the heart structure.
So what happens if Avalambaka kapha goes out of balance?
Well,
Does the heart just fall apart?
not quite.
Okay.
But if it's out of whack, it can lead to chronic structural issues like ventricular hypertrophy.
Oh, wow.
Think of it as the heart scaffolding
Okay.
getting wonky.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got the kapha connection. Now, what about Rakta, the blood?
Yeah.
How does Ayurveda see its role in all this?
Ayurveda doesn't just view blood as like a fluid.
Right.
It breaks down its properties into 5 key qualities. Visrata,
Okay.
which is stickiness.
Okay.
Dravata,
Okay.
fluidity.
Okay.
Raga, which is color.
Uh-huh.
Spandan, which is pulsation.
Okay.
And Laguta, which is lightness.
Okay.
And get this,
Okay.
each of these can be linked to specific cardiovascular issues.
So we're not just talking about like good blood or bad blood. There's like a whole system for understanding blood's qualities.
Precisely.
Oh, wow.
For example,
Right.
too much Dravata, meaning excessive fluidity,
Okay.
can be linked to hypertension, while not enough could lead to dehydration.
Mhm.
And then there's Spandan, the pulsation of blood.
Yeah.
If it's out of balance, you could see things like tachycardia or
Yeah.
bradycardia.
And what about the lightness of blood?
Yeah.
The Laguta.
This is where it gets really cool. The article links Laguta to cholesterol and lipid levels.
Mm.
Too much heaviness in the blood, what Ayurveda calls Gouda, can lead to conditions like hyperlipidemia.
So Ayurveda is connecting high cholesterol to the actual energetic qualities of the blood itself.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the beauty of this system.
Yeah.
It sees these connections that Western medicine might miss, and it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Ayurveda also recognizes how much our mental and emotional states impact heart health,
Right.
especially through Sadaka Pitta.
Okay, Sadaka Pitta,
Yeah.
another subdosha, right.
Right.
Remind me what Pitta is all about again.
Pitta is the dosha responsible for transformation, including metabolic processes and digestion.
Okay.
But it also includes mental processes
Okay.
through Saddaka Pitta.
So if Saddaka Pitta is off kilter,
Yeah.
are we talking about like stress and anxiety
Yeah.
affecting the heart?
Exactly.
Okay.
Chronic stress and anxiety can wreak havoc on your cardiovascular system,
Yeah.
and Ayurveda gets that connection.
Right. So it's not just about popping a pill
Right.
to lower your blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the whole picture.
You're getting it.
Yeah.
Ayurveda wants to figure out the root cause of these imbalances,
Okay.
not just manage the symptoms.
Which leads me to this. The article lists some general symptoms of heart disease.
Okay.
What are some examples, and how do they tie back to these doshic imbalances?
Well, it mentions things like discoloration, fainting, fever,
Right.
and even dyspnea.
Okay.
That's difficulty breathing.
Okay.
An Ayurvedic practitioner would see these symptoms as clues
Yeah.
to the underlying doshic imbalance.
So it's like detective work.
Exactly.
Oh.
They're using the symptoms to track down the root cause. For example, discoloration might suggest a circulation issue or a pitta imbalance,
Okay.
while fainting could be linked to Vata disturbances.
Right.
It's about seeing the whole person,
Yeah.
not just the disease.
This is all incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, is there anything in this article that our listeners can actually apply to their lives right now?
There is.
Oh, really?
The article highlights amla rasa, which means sour taste,
Okay.
as being particularly beneficial for the heart,
Okay.
especially for conditions caused by something called udavarta.
Okay. Break that down for me.
Okay.
Udavarta.
So udavarta is a condition where vayu, the dosha of movement,
Okay.
is moving in the wrong direction, upwards, instead of downwards.
Interesting.
And this can impact the heart.
Okay.
Amla rasa, with its sour taste, can help promote the proper downward flow of vayu.
So we're talking about incorporating more sour foods into our diet,
Yeah.
like lemons and limes.
That's a simplified way to put it,
Okay.
but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how taste can play a role in balancing the doshas.
This is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We've just scratched the surface of Ayurveda's approach to heart health.
Right.
And I already feel like I've learned so much.
And we're just getting started.
I can't wait.
There's so much more to explore in this ancient wisdom.
All right, great.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Ayurvedic view of heart health.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we can learn from a system of medicine that's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that makes Ayurveda so unique is this like holistic perspective.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
It's not just about the physical heart,
Yeah,
but also the emotional and energetic aspects.
right, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
The term Hrudaya,
Right.
referring to both the heart and the brain,
Yeah,
really highlights that connection.
exactly.
I'm curious, does that concept play into how Ayurveda approaches treatment for heart issues?
Oh, it absolutely does.
Okay.
Ayurveda emphasizes treating the individual,
Right.
not just the disease.
Right.
So two people might have the same diagnosis,
Okay.
but their treatment plans could look completely different depending on their unique constitution and imbalances.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, not at all. An Ayurvedic practitioner would consider a person's doshic constitution, lifestyle, diet, emotional state,
Right.
everything that makes them unique.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's about understanding the whole person, not just their symptoms.
exactly.
Now, we talked about the doshas and
Yeah.
how they relate to heart health, but the article also mentions this thing called srotas.
Yeah.
What are those?
Srotas are essentially channels that carry vital substances throughout the body.
Okay.
You can think of them as pathways for nutrients, fluids, and even prana, which is the life force energy.
So it's kind of like the circulatory system
Yeah.
in Western medicine.
There are some parallels,
Okay.
but Ayurveda sees srotas as more than just physical pathways.
Mm.
They're also pathways for the flow of energy.
Interesting.
And guess what?
Right.
The heart plays a major role in this network of srotas.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Tell me more.
The article specifically mentions the heart as the srotomula, or
Yeah.
root of the pranavaha srota.
Pranavaha srotas.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty important.
It is.
Okay.
Pranavaha srotas is the channel that's responsible for carrying prana throughout the entire body.
Wow.
And because the heart is the root of this channel,
Yeah.
it plays a critical role in making sure prana flows smoothly.
So if the heart isn't functioning properly,
Yeah,
it could disrupt the flow of prana everywhere.
exactly.
Wow.
And that can lead to a whole cascade of problems.
Right.
It really underscores the importance of approaching heart health from a holistic perspective.
Right.
Now, there's another interesting concept that the article brings up,
What?
something called Udavarta.
Udavarta. I
Yeah.
don't think I've heard that one before.
So Udavarta is a condition where Vayu,
Okay.
the dosha of movement,
Right.
starts moving in an upward direction
Hmm.
instead of its natural downward flow.
Interesting.
This can disrupt the normal flow of energy in the body and lead to a variety of issues, including heart problems.
So it's like Vayu is going rogue,
Yeah,
causing trouble wherever it goes.
you could say that.
Wow.
And remember we talked about amla rasa, the sour taste, being good for the heart.
Yeah, you mentioned lemons and limes.
Well, amla rasa is particularly beneficial for Udavarta
Okay.
because it helps to redirect Vayu back to its natural downward flow.
So if you're feeling a bit like Vayu'd out,
Yeah,
a little sour taste might help get things moving in the right direction.
exactly.
Okay.
Now, another area where Ayurveda offers a unique perspective is congenital heart disease.
Okay.
The article links this to imbalances in something called Raskrut.
Raskrut, what is that?
Raskrut refers to the factors that influence the formation of tissues and organs during fetal development.
Okay.
Essentially, it's saying that congenital heart disease could stem from imbalances that happen even before a baby is born.
So Ayurveda is saying that heart health starts in the womb.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it is pretty incredible.
But what does that mean for, like, prevention?
Right.
If these imbalances are happening before birth,
Yeah.
is there anything that can be done?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it brings up an area where Ayurveda could offer valuable insights.
Okay.
What if we could better understand these Raskrut imbalances and develop preventative measures based on Ayurvedic principles? Imagine if we could address heart health from the very beginning of life.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah,
It really opens up a whole new way of thinking about heart health.
it does.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah,
I'm curious to know what else this article has to offer.
sure.
Are there any other key insights that we should be aware of?
There are.
Okay.
And they might just change the way you think about taking care of your heart.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the Ayurvedic understanding of heart health.
It's been a fascinating journey so far.
Yeah, absolutely. From doshas and srotas to the idea that Hrudaya can mean both the heart and the brain.
Yeah,
We've covered a lot,
we have.
but I'm curious what we can do with all this knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, how can we apply these Ayurvedic principles to, like, prevent heart problems in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something that Ayurveda is very well suited to address.
Okay.
In fact, prevention is a cornerstone of this system.
So where do we even begin?
Well, a lot of the advice aligns with what conventional medicine recommends.
Okay.
Ayurveda places a strong emphasis on a healthy diet
Okay.
and regular exercise.
Okay, but we hear that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
what's the Ayurvedic take on that?
It's not just about like eating your veggies and hitting the gym.
Okay.
Ayurveda gets very specific, providing dietary and exercise recommendations based on your individual doshic constitution.
So it's about personalization.
Exactly.
Right.
For example, someone with a pitta constitution
Okay.
who tends to run hot
Right.
might be advised to avoid spicy or oily foods,
Mm.
while someone with a kapha constitution
Mm.
who might be more prone to sluggishness could benefit from a lighter and more stimulating diet.
It's like having a custom-made plan. For healthy living,
Yeah.
what about exercise?
Right.
How does that tie into the doshas?
The same principle applies.
Okay.
Ayurveda recognizes that not everyone thrives on the same type of exercise.
Mm.
So someone with a Vata imbalance, for instance, might need calming activities like yoga or Tai Chi,
Okay.
whereas a Kapha individual might benefit from more vigorous exercise to get their energy moving.
So it's not one size fits all
Right.
for fitness either.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting. We've
Yeah.
talked a lot about diet and exercise.
Yeah.
But isn't there a saying, a broken heart can't be fixed with salad?
Right.
What does Ayurveda say about, like, the emotional aspect
Yeah.
of heart health?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And Ayurveda absolutely recognizes that connection.
Okay.
It emphasizes stress management techniques like meditation and yoga
Okay.
to cultivate inner peace and balance.
Right.
Remember, chronic stress can wreak havoc on the cardiovascular system.
It's that mind-body connection again.
Exactly.
So it's not just about what you eat or how you move.
Right.
It's also about how you manage your stress
Yeah,
and cultivate a sense of inner peace.
precisely.
Okay.
It's about addressing all aspects of your being
Right.
to support optimal heart health.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah,
It's clear that there's so much more to heart health than what we often hear about.
absolutely. And what's really exciting is the potential for Ayurveda to contribute to a whole new understanding of cardiovascular health.
Right.
Think back to what we discussed earlier about RAS-root imbalances and their potential link to congenital heart disease.
Yeah, the idea that heart health could be influenced by factors present even before birth
Right.
is pretty mind-blowing.
Imagine the possibilities if we could delve deeper into those imbalances and develop preventative measures based on Ayurvedic principles.
Yeah.
It could revolutionize how we approach heart health from the very beginning of life.
That's an incredible thought.
Yeah.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of what Ayurveda can teach us about the heart.
We have, and I encourage you to continue exploring this ancient wisdom.
Hmm.
See what insights you can discover for your own heart health journey. There's a wealth of knowledge waiting to be uncovered.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've learned so much about Ayurveda's unique approach to cardiovascular health, and it's clear that there's still so much more to discover. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration.